What do you desire? It is day 11 of our 40-day activation, and today we are deep diving into our desires. Now, desire is a layered topic because, of course, we want many, many things in all areas of our life, and we deserve all of them, unequivocally. We are worthy of all of them. We were born worthy. So sometimes when it comes to desires, we can get overwhelmed if there are a lot of things that we want. We don't really know which one to choose first, where to start, and consequently, it makes us not move in the direction of our desires. So as we deep dive into our desires in our 40-day activation together, we are going to do it in a way that doesn't overwhelm our nervous system. We are going to go category by category. We're not going to miss a single desire. And then we are going to move, well, first we're going to get super, super clear on what we want. I have journal prompts for you to get clear. And then we're going to move into the embodiment of them. And once we have solidified that embodiment, we're going to move on to the next category, the next desire. So take a screenshot of these journal prompts. What do you want? What do you really, really want? Today we're going to start with livelihood, career. How do we want to be of service in this lifetime? How do we want to give and share our talents with the world in our lifetime? In what capacity do we want to share our talents? How exactly do we want to share them? With who do we want to share them? How many hours a day do we want to share them? What is the energetic exchange, the monetary value we want to receive in exchange for our talents and our service to this world we live in? So when you answer these questions, pour your heart and soul into these questions. You don't have to be overwhelmed because we're just focusing on one area of our life. We can let go of all the other areas. We will come back to all the other areas, but right now we're just going to laser focus on our livelihood, on our career, and what talents we want to be sharing with this world. Because all of you can do something that you love in this precious life that you have, and you can be paid handsomely for it. You can be compensated for sharing your talents. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to follow the logical path. You truly are meant to bring out your own authenticity and have it be of service to the world. You came here to show the world who you truly are. And a lot of times that career path is not the one that we were taught to follow or we were taught to go to university for. So I invite you, as you answer these questions, to take the logical part out of your mind. You know, of course we have bills to pay. Of course we are all adults. Of course we have responsibilities. But let's tap into your true creativity. Let's tap into your innate gifts, because those gifts are far more powerful than any logic we have in our mind. A lot of times our logic, it's well, that's smart to do, or the economy is this way, so I must do this, or everybody's doing this, so I need to follow. No, let's dive in deep. What do you want to do? How do you want to give your gifts to the world? And when you tap into that energy inside you, that authenticity, money is a byproduct of that. Being provided for is a byproduct of that. When you share your heart with the world, when you share your raw, true gifts with the world, when you tap into your innate, authentic energy, you are compensated for that. It is law. So pour your heart and soul into these questions and let new doors in your mind open up to these questions. Let your mind expand to realms and ideas that you wouldn't normally have thought of. Take your time, and when you finish, close your notebook, take a breath, just be for a bit, and come back and we will do an embodiment exercise. So I'll see you very soon. Congratulations on getting clear, crystal clear, about what you want for your livelihood, what you want, how you want to be sharing your gifts. What are the gifts you want to share? How often do you want to share them? How many hours a day? How many hours a week? How do you want to share them? With who? When? How do you want to feel? You answered all the questions, all the journal prompts. I'm super proud of you. It sometimes takes, it takes energy. It takes concentrated effort and energy to get clear on what we want. Even though we want it, but when we want to get really, really clear on it so that we're really shooting an arrow in the direction that we want, it takes energy, and it's easy to not do it. So I just want to say I'm really proud of you for doing that. This is beautiful. Now that we have the list, I invite you to reread it right now. Just have it handy. Pause this, reread it, feel it, and as you're reading it, I want you to believe that these are actual possibilities. So quiet the voice in your head that says you need, just quiet all the voices in your head that say you need things to be a certain way. Any worldly things, just quiet that voice. We are right now, we're not saying that those voices don't matter and that advice doesn't matter, but we don't need it right now. Right now we're going inward. Right now we're creating. Right now we're using the power that we are to create a life that we want. And we can only do that by going inward. We co-create with the energies that are around us, but we can only do that when we go inward. So open your list. Let's kind of reread the questions. Reread your beautiful thought out answers. Just kind of get familiar with the context. Just take like the next 5 minutes. Airplane your phone. Well, you can still watch the video while you have it on airplane. I don't think so. Put the distractions away. Just let's be together for 5 minutes and do this together. Reread your list. Be familiar with the energy that's that is written on these pieces of paper about what you really want moving forward, even if it's the complete opposite of what you're doing now. Be familiar with these words. Be in this energy. I invite you to realize that this is an absolute possibility. This is an absolute reality that exists. You couldn't create this in your mind if it wasn't on a parallel reality happening now. You couldn't sense it, see it, and articulate it if it wasn't possible for you. You couldn't. So now that you know that this is an absolute possibility and this does exist, and you can continue to focus your energy in a way here and now to shift you in the direction of it, and soon you are living it. That's all it is. It's just energy. It's just the deliberate direction of our energy is all that we need to move into the reality that we want. A deliberate focus of energy. That's all. So you've read your list, you're familiar with it. Those words are kind of vibrating in your mind. You're in the vibe of what's on this paper. Now, just let that settle in. We're not in a rush. Now, you have this life on this paper. You have it. You have it. The amount of hours you work in a day, where you're working, what you're sharing, the talents, your talents that you're offering to the world, they're happening now. All the logistics that had to come into place for that to be, that all already happened. You have this reality right now. This is your livelihood. This is how you are compensated. These numbers that you've written, that's your reality. These hours that you're working, whether it be very little to how, whatever the time commitment is, that is your reality. The talents that you're sharing, your talents, that is your reality. That is how it is. Breathe that in and just settle in that. Do you feel it? That's your reality here and now. So now that we've touched that in feeling, now that we know not only do we know it's a possibility, but we've felt it. We've felt the reality of it. That's all we need. We have planted the seed. We have felt the reality of it, and now we're going to keep going back to this feeling. We're going to keep going back to this feeling, because the more familiar we make this feeling, the easier it is for it to come into our reality. When things are familiar, they go on autopilot in our mind. When things are familiar, they start to run with our subconscious mind. And when things start to run with our subconscious mind, that's the driving force of our reality. That is the driver. So we are going to keep these feelings familiar. We're going to feel them so much that they become so familiar. So I invite you every day, now that you have manufactured this gorgeous feeling, you've gotten really clear on what you want, and now that happened, and you've felt it, you've touched it with your feeling, you've made it visceral. You have planted the seed. So I invite you to keep going back to that feeling and just keeping it fresh. And if there were 3 words that could sum up that feeling of you have everything on your livelihood list now, that is exactly how your life is now, what are the 3 words that come to mind? Or 5, or 1? Let that word be your mantra. Let that word allow you to come back to yourself. Come back to the version of you that has this as your livelihood. Let that word be your sail, that when, life happens and you're kind of going with the wind, you say the word and it brings you back. You've planted it. And the outcome, the natural byproduct of that, is it comes into your reality. And it'll come quick. To the extent of how real you feel that feeling, it comes quick. And you're bringing that feeling back to your mind, back to your heart, back to your center, back to your energy body. You're bringing that feeling back multiple times a day. And when you do that, the natural byproduct is that feeling is familiar. And when something is familiar, it's second nature. And when it's second nature, it's impressed on our subconscious mind already done, and our subconscious mind is what drives our life. So by the repetition of feeling this, you are embodying this energy. And the natural byproduct of embodying this energy is circumstances, people, places, things that represent this energy. So in your case, how you wrote your livelihood and what you would like it to be, this is the feeling of it. So if you feel this feeling, the natural byproduct is the livelihood that you have written in detail. It's so simple. We manifest who we are. We manifest what we are being. So if we are being that feeling, we manifest that feeling. So bring this feeling back often. Now you've become familiar with it just a little bit. Keep bringing it back. You'll become more familiar, more familiar, more familiar, more familiar, more familiar. And this is where the magic happens. This is where synchronicities come. You meet this person, you're invited here, you're inspired to take this action, something falls in your lap like this. When we plant these rich seeds of desire, this is where the magic starts to happen, and it's a miracle. So, you've planted the seed. Let's let the magic unfold in this beautiful first category of our desires in our 40-day activation, our livelihood. I will see you tomorrow. You're doing beautiful, and yeah, gosh, I'm really proud. See you soon.